Alright guys, I am back with another chapter in First Chronicles. We're in First Chronicles chapter 4, where the header reads, The Tribes of Israel, Other Descendants of Judah. And we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. The descendants of Judah were Perez, Hezron, Carmi, Hur, and Shabal. Shabal's son, Reah, was the father of Jahath. Jahath was the father of Ahumai and Lahad. These were the families of the Zorathites. The descendants of Etam were Jezreel, Ishma, Idbash, their sister Hazelpani, that's a tough one, Penuel, the father of Gedor, and Izur, the father of Husha. These were the descendants of Hur, the firstborn of Ephrathah, the ancestor of Bethlehem. Ashur, the father of Tekoa, had two wives named Helah and Narah. Narah gave birth to Ahuzam, Hefer, Temeni, and Ha-Hashtari, I think. Helah gave birth to Zereth, Izar, Ethnan, and Kaz, who became the ancestor of Anub, Zobeba, and all the families of Aharel, son of Harum. There was a man named Jabez who was more honorable than any of his brothers. His mother named him Jabez because his birth had been so painful. He was the one who prayed to the God of Israel, "Oh, that you would bless me and expand my territory. Please be with me all that I do. Please be with me in all that I do, and keep me from all trouble and pain." And God granted his request. Caleb, the brother of Shua, was the father of Meher. Meher was the father of Eshtan. Eshtan was the father of Bethrapha, Paseah, and Tehina. Tehina was the father of Nahash. These were the descendants of Rechah. The sons of Kenaz were Othniel and Sariah. Othniel's sons were Hathath and Meonatheh. Meonatheh was the father of Ophrah. Sarai was the father of Joab, the founder of the Valley of Craftsmen, so called because they were craftsmen. The sons of Caleb, son of Jephunneh, were Eru, Elah, and Nam. The son of Elah was Kenaz. The sons of Jahalil were Ziph, Ziphah, Tiria, and Asarel. The sons of Ezra were Jether, Mered, Epher, and Jalan. One of Mered's wives became the mother of Miriam, Shimei, and Ishbah, the father of Eshtemoa. He married a woman from Judah, who became the mother of Jared, the father of Gedor, Heber, the father of Soko, and Jekuthiel, the father of Zanoah. Mered also married Bithiah, a daughter of Pharaoh, and she bore him children. Hodiah's wife was the sister of Naham. One of her sons was the father of Keilah, the Garmite, and another was the father of Eshtemoa, the Maacathite. Couple A's in there. The sons of Shimon were Amnon, Ranah, Ben-Hanan, and Talan. The descendants of Ishi were Zoheth and Ben-Zoheth. Shelah was one of Judah's sons. The descendants of Shelah were the father of Lakah, Ladah, the father of Marishah, the families of linen workers at Beth Ashbia, Joachim, the men of Kozeba, and Joash and Seraph, who ruled over Moab and Jashubi-Lehem. These names all come from ancient records. They were the pottery makers who lived in Netaim and Gederah. They lived there and worked for the king. The sons of Simeon were Jemuel, Jamin, Jarib, Zohar, and Shaul. The descendants of Shaul were Shillam, Mibsam, and Mishma. The descendants of Mishma were Hamuel, Zakur, and Shimei. Shimei had 16 sons and 6 daughters, But none of his brothers had large families, so Simeon's tribe never grew as large as the tribe of Judah. They lived in Beersheba, Malada, Hazar Shual, Bilhah, Ezem, Talad, Bethwel, Hormah, Ziklag, Beth Markaboth, Hazar Susim, Beth Beri, and Sharaim. These towns were under their control until the time of King David. Their descendants also lived in Etam, Ain, Rimmon, Token, and Ashan, 5 towns, and their surrounding villages as far away as Belath. This was their territory, and these names are listed in their genealogical records. Other descendants of Simeon included Meshabab, Jemlech, Joshah, son of Amaziah, Joel, Jehu's son of Joshibiah, son of Sariah, son of Asil, Elionai, Jacobah, Jeshohiah, Asaiah, Adiel, Jezemael, Benaiah, and Ziza, son of Shiphi, son of Alan, son of Jediah, son of Shimri, son of Shemaiah. These were the names of some of the leaders of Simeon's wealthy clans. Their families grew and they traveled to the region of Gerar, in the east part of the valley, seeking pasture land for their flocks. They found lush pastures there, and the land was spacious, quiet, and peaceful. Some of Ham's descendants had been living in that region, but during the reign of King Hezekiah of Judah, these leaders of Simeon invaded the region and completely destroyed the homes of the descendants of Ham and of the Meunites. No trace of them remains today. They killed everyone who lived there and took the land for themselves, because they wanted its good pasture lands for their flocks. 500 of these invaders from the tribe of Simeon went to Mount Seir, led by Pelatiah, Neriah, Rephaiah, and Uzziel, all sons of Ishi. They destroyed the few Amalekites who had survived, and they have lived there ever since. So that is the end of chapter 4, guys. And my absolute favorite part about this is, I gotta find it now, the prayer. Who was it? So it was verse 9 of this chapter 4, and it reads, "There was a man named Jabez who was more honorable than any of his brothers. His mother named him Jabez because his birth had been so painful. He was the one who prayed to the God of Israel, 'Oh, that you would bless me and expand my territory. Please be with me in all that I do and keep me from all trouble and pain.' And God granted his request." To avoid all trouble and pain is such a privilege, but when I hear that, I don't immediately gravitate towards that. And it's only something that's happened in the last couple of years. I know that pain is one of the greatest teachers that has ever walked the earth. Any amount of pain, when we think touching the top of a stove, that the lesson happens with such immediacy and usually such a tone that it's a lesson that you'll never forget. So much wisdom is compiled through pain. It makes me wonder now. It's interesting because it says how blessed he was. Please expand my territory. So his resources increased. It'd be different if he just prayed for, "Oh, I don't want any trouble or pain." Okay, that's great. There's plenty of people that yearn for more that don't have a lot of trouble or a lot of pain. But he still wanted more, and God still granted that. And it frustrates me because it's a part of understanding that I wish to have, and a lot of it is faith. I know that I just simply lack the faith for it, which is so frustrating because I believe that I serve a God that lives, that he listens to me, and he knows what my heart's desires. He knows these things. But I labor so fiercely for the things that I want for my family, knowing that God provides. Not only does he provides more than enough. I don't know how to submit without labor. And I struggle so much with that because I know that faith without works is dead, but I also know that I don't have to do anything for him to work. I just need to believe. And I often get just lost in the execution of that. How much of my involvement is too much? How much is not enough? I believe that he doesn't need anything of me in order for him to have his will done. He just wants me. In that, I know that when I am a follower of Christ, there will be fruits of me, through me, that God uses to glorify him. How much of that requires my participation? I really struggle with that. And so to hear a man that prayed, no, God, I want you to expand everything that I have, and I'd really like no trouble or pain. Yes to all that. But I also know that God, if I need trouble and pain to make me what you need me to be, I'm okay with that too. I'm not happy about it, but especially with how my life has been the past year, 2 years, someone could say my whole life. I'm sure that there's evidence out there for that. I want to be who he wants me to be, and the best version of that. And I don't think I can have that without trouble and pain, as much as that saddens me. If it could be in his will that be so, I'd very much appreciate it, because I've had my fair share of it, especially recently. But if it can't be, that's okay. And I would like him to expand my territory as well. But if it doesn't happen right now, that's okay too. I don't want it to be that. I want my territory and resources to expand beyond my even comprehension. I don't want any more trouble and pain. But I want what he wants for my life. So come what may. So on that note, have a good night. God bless. I love you. Jesus loves you. And I'll be back for chapter 5 of 1 Chronicles tomorrow, where the header reads Descendants of Reuben. So have a good night and God bless, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.